New York Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors is going to miss the rest of the season after tearing his ACL in yesterday's win over the Chargers. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh said quarterback Lamar Jackson wouldn't have returned to their game in Kansas City if it was close after suffering an apparent hamstring injury. As for Jackson's status for Week 5 against Houston, Harbaugh says they will know more on Wednesday. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy had a setback with his toe injury after playing in yesterday's loss to the Jaguars. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said that Purdy was dealing with soreness in the toe after the game. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski wouldn't officially name quarterback Joe Flacco as the team's starting quarterback for Week 5 against the Vikings in London, only to say that Stefanski was trying to make the offense play better than they have this season. Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard, speaking at media today on the allegations of no-show endorsement deals, said, quote, the NBA is going to do their job. None of us did any wrongdoing, end quote. Rocco Baldelli out as the Twin skipper. I'm Dan Beyer.
Yeah, that's the weakest ass way to start a show ever. Reminding me that I owe Steve Covino $2,100.
Sounded good to me.
Son of a bitch. You know where he is right now?
I'm going to borrow $1 from Covino.
You know where
Pay that
Covino?
man his money.
He's in Mexico right now on vacation on me, apparently. So, well, I'm rolling solo today, but not solo because I got the best crew. We got the best show in the biz. Danny G, super producer. What's up, Danny G?
Yay. Happy Monday.
I was Sam, bringing the good vibes.
I had no idea Covino was gone today. I didn't look at the schedule, apparently.
Spotty's on the video, and of course, he'll be co-hosting throughout the show. My man and yours, Dan Beyer. What's up, D-Big?
Hello.
$2,100, huh?
That
hurts.
That's pretty heavy.
That hurts, especially when I'm redoing my pool in the backyard. My kids
now we
got
don't feel
expenses.
as bad. Yeah, now we don't feel as bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Remember when you were like, "Hey, Covino, you want to just cut your loss right here? You just give me like $800."
Oh, dude.
And then look at how the tide turned,
Bro. It's like the worst bet I've ever lost in my life by far. $2,100? That's gross. But hey, he's in Mexico. You know why Covino's in Mexico? True story. Danny G thought it was a joke. He goes, what did Covino buy, like some type of timeshare that he needed to use? And I'm like, yes. And during his last vacation, he was the guy that watched that presentation where they try to sell you, want to come back here for half price, but you have to go in this window of time. That's what he did.
Yeah, I was kidding, and Rich said, no, that's actually what happened.
And I was like, dude, that's in the middle of the NFL season. Who cares? We could hang without Cove. He's valuable, but he's not like Cal Raleigh valuable. He's like Aaron Judge valuable, so we could be all
wow,
right.
if he heard this, he'd be upset.
Oh, all right. Hey, we're going to get to a lot today. A lot of fun on Covino and Rich. I won't harp on the Mets, but I do want to bring up a statement from Steve Cohen and how he already committed to Mendoza's going to be the manager next year. And that's got fans in New York on the East Coast upset. And I want to talk about the idea of blowing it up when it doesn't go well. There's people that are like, you got to blow up this team. And it doesn't just apply to the Mets. It applies to any NFL team, NBA team. When you don't make the postseason, is the answer always blow it up and start over? Or sometimes is it, maybe just run it back, you get better luck, fix some pieces, but do you really need to blow it up?
On our network yesterday afternoon, I heard the host talking about should the Panthers blow things up.
Should the Detroit Tigers blow it up because they coughed up a huge lead?
Who was talking Panthers after yesterday? That's what I want to know.
It was Hartman and VJ.
Yeah.
There wasn't much to say.
VJ said, I told you years ago.
I told you. So listen, we're going to get to a bunch, but as we do every Monday, let's kick off a Covino and Rich with things that made you go,
Let's go, baby!
Things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
Now, before we even get to all the games, there was a lot of great NFL action. We're going to talk about ties. We're going to talk about there's only 2 undefeated teams, right? Only 2 undefeated teams left after 4 weeks of the NFL.
Just 2.
Showing the parity in the league. But we got to talk about Bad Bunny because my goodness, the social media reaction. Danny G, I was watching just like you Sunday Night Football, and they so casually, like Mike Tirico.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know this was coming. Tirico's like, and coming up next, we're going to find out who the halftime show is. And I'm like, oh, damn. Like, Tirico was just holding that in his pocket, huh? And there he is, Bad Bunny, sitting on a goalpost with a straw hat. And everyone's like, wait, what? Bad Bunny?
He was carrying a golf bag, too. It was weird.
Bad Bunny,
He's
otherwise
still caddying for Happy Gilmore.
otherwise known as Happy Gilmore's caddy, is an international superstar. Let's not be naive, but let's not also make it seem like everyone knows Bad Bunny. It's a very interesting choice by Jay-Z, Roger Goodell in the NFL. I think we could say interesting choice. Now, here's my thought. My initial thought was, what about Taylor Swift? Because we had all those little breadcrumbs, those Easter eggs of sourdough and 60 and all this. Like, ooh, Super Bowl 60. And then Metallica. And then you heard rumors last week like Adele. And then we were all thinking, oh, she's too slow. Like, she's got a great voice and great songs, but not Adele. And then you heard Post Malone. And then over the weekend, there were internet rumors that Miley's close to signing the contract. I had not heard. Am I wrong by saying no one else heard Bad Bunny's name even in the conversation?
They kept it under wraps.
That was the most like under wraps anything's been kept because I didn't hear a thing, a peep about Bad Bunny. Now, let me tell you, when Covino and I worked over at ESPN, we worked very closely with a lot of the people that work for ESPN Deportes. To say that Bad Bunny is a superstar is an understatement. You just must not have many Latino friends or know anyone that speaks Spanish. This guy's an international star. But here's the question. Is it the right act for the Super Bowl? 877-99 on Fox. If you want to chime in, that's one of our things that made you go, week 4. I look at it this way. We often neglect to realize when something's not meant for us, right? Let's say you're let's be honest, middle-aged white guy who loves football and you're going to watch no matter what. They got you hooked. You're watching the Super Bowl and everything involved with the NFL playoffs. You're watching Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays, Sunday nights. You're locked in. They got you. They don't need to get you anymore. So it's very clear that last year with Kendrick Lamar and this year with Bad Bunny, they are shooting younger. They're going for different ethnic backgrounds. They're going global. The NFL playing games in Ireland and Spain and Mexico. The game's expanding. The fan base is trying to expand. So Bad Bunny, to me, is just a clear indication that, you're not the demo they're going after. You're locked in, middle-aged white guy. And I'm in that group. If they wanted middle-aged white guy, if they wanted to super serve the 40 to 60-year-old dude, Metallica's the answer. But they're going after the younger generation. You're always going after the younger generation. People love to point out with alcohol sales and why they used to always have mascots for alcohol and cigarettes and stuff. Because they're really subconsciously trying to get the next generation. So what was your first reaction when you saw Bad Bunny? Danny, you got stepkids that are in their 20s. You got a little boy. You got kids. So what was your reaction?
Teenagers were hyped over the announcement. And I don't mind him, but the response right away on social media, and I sent it to our listener, Eric, wrote, having Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl halftime show is the equivalent of having Morgan Wallen at a big soccer game in Mexico. It's just not fit at all for the right sport.
It may feel like a miscast. San Francisco, Bay Area, there's no real tie to Bad Bunny there. Dan Byer, did you,
It really didn't. It didn't really resonate with me at all. I'm not too familiar, but to your point, I also didn't think that it was for me. I am fully convinced that this is Plan C. I think that they probably wanted other acts to do it. You pointed out a couple of times on the date that they announced Kendrick Lamar. What was in last year? What was interesting about that date was it was week 1 of the NFL season. So it was actually completely overshadowed by the games that we actually cared about. And I think that the NFL wanted to avoid that. However, to do it like in this window during halftime of a game in week 4 tells me that maybe they had this earlier and things didn't work out with Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift, that this is then where they ended up pivoting and worked out a deal with Bad Bunny.
I think you're probably 100% right. And I probably 100% right. Because, you're right, the timing just seemed different than other years. It was a little later. Plus, I think Taylor did hint a lot. And I'm not being the little, I'm not like Pop Boy who's reading between the lines. But remember on her podcast with Travis, they made all those sourdough jokes, and 60% of the time, you're like 60 sourdough. Those Easter eggs were there for a reason. I heard from people that work in like the pop world of radio that her list of demands was up there, and the NFL has a brand to worry about, and Taylor Swift has a brand to worry about, and they just couldn't really figure out who owned it. There was probably behind the scenes stuff.
I'll give you something that I thought was, maybe it only landed on me, but I thought it was interesting with the photo of Bad Bunny on a sunset, because the sun is going to be out when he performs, because it's in San Francisco, and it actually makes one of those weird halftime show performances because it's in the daylight and it's not in an indoor stadium. So one thing about the Michael Jackson halftime show at the Rose Bowl that was so crazy was, it was in the daytime.
Yeah.
We forget that. There's not everyone's going to have their little wristband with the glowing and the light show. This is straight up like Bad Bunny, daylight.
And I was at the last Super Bowl 50 between the Broncos and Panthers when it was Coldplay, and then they brought out Beyonce and Bruno Mars, and it was daylight. It's like 4:20 in the afternoon. It's sun is starting to set, but there is no hint of darkness whatsoever.
So your thoughts, if you want to chime in, Bad Bunny, your Super Bowl halftime show. I think it's just obvious that it's not for everyone, but it's not. We love to think it's supposed to be for you. Like my father-in-law recently was saying, you know what I miss, Rich? I'm like, what, Dave? He's like, we need to bring back. I used to love to read the box scores in the newspaper. And I was like,
that's not how your dad sounds. You got to impersonate
no,
him.
that's my father-in-law.
Oh, your father-in-law.
Yeah.
You can't impersonate him?
It's a little southern, but he lost it a little bit. But Dave will be like, Rich, know what I forget and know what I miss. He's talking about box scores. And I'm like, yeah, Dave, just go on your phone and click on the app. And then you click on passing. But he wants to, read it. And I go, unfortunately, you know who that appeals to? Your generation, and people are not worried about it.
Kids don't even know we used to have that.
Yeah, no one's worried about that in your. No one's trying to worry about what a 60, 70, 80-year-old guy thinks, unfortunately. So this is definitely a pick for the younger people. And hey, you know what? I think it is funny how we overanalyze what's going to end up being 15 to 20 minutes of your life 6 months from now. I think we'll be okay. I think it'll be fun. Bad Bunny, there's going to be hot dancers. He's going to put on a show. You just may not understand anything he says. But you know what? Hey, you have a few months to do some Rosetta Stone. Learn a little more Spanish if you're too worried about it. So, Bad Bunny, halftime show. That was the first thing that made me go, yesterday. Now, before we go over all the daytime games, last night, one of those nights where my family was just all in the living room, chilling out. We let our kids stay up a little later because they were sort of watching the football game and sort of learning the game a little bit more last night. They both seemed sort of locked in, Cowboys, Packers. My wife's family, Packers fans. So they're watching, and I'm explaining, see the yellow line? That's a first down. They get 4 chances to get 10 yards. I'm doing the dad instructional. And of all games, I'm trying to teach them about the rules. It's a damn tie. And then I had to think to myself, well, do I have any real feelings about a tie? And I think I'm going to defend the tie today. I'm going to defend the bolo tie because I think it's a cool look. Remember Phillip Rivers would rock the bolo tie? I'm going to defend the tie in football because I think what it does to the standings is awesome. Because at the end of the year, if you're OCD about seeing what team is where, now the Packers are probably going to be 11, 5-1, 10, 6-1, the 12, 4. Yeah, that one is going to really mess up that North. But do you think there's something really crappy about two teams battling 4 quarters plus overtime, and it's 40-40, and they both walk away
Yeah, I didn't like it.
How do you fix it, though? We talked about this for years. And my solution is simple. Dan Beyer, add 5 minutes.
Yes.
Each team got the ball, and it seems like each team with the legit possession equals about 10 minutes. If you had 5 more minutes left in that overtime period, just make it another quarter, 15 minutes. I think someone urgently moves the ball down the field and at least tries a winning field goal. I think 10 minutes is just designed for a tie in a weird way.
It 100% is. And previously, I think they were just trying to get the game over with.
Yeah.
On the first score that wins the game. And then you do the thing where you're like, okay, well, now it's got to be both teams have first touchdown wins the game. So if you kick a field goal, that lent it to, all right, we're gonna have more ties, because they did. There were multiple ties in previous seasons under the old rule of field goal does not win it for you. Touchdown wins it for you. There were more ties. Now with this, they never changed the period length. Adding 5 more minutes to the quarter would be a huge, huge difference, because it just doesn't make any sense to have it this way when if you are going to have a field goal drive, it's probably going to be about 4 to 5 minutes, especially too if one of the teams is always going for it on 4th down if they need to, because they have to tie the game because they're trailing at that point.
And like you said, the length of a drive in that situation is about 4 to 5 minutes. Do that 2 times, you match field goals to tie. My team hasn't tied in a long time. I would love to hear from a Packers fan or a Cowboys fan. How are you feeling today? Is it like, because you're not, your football team does determine your mood. I'm a little sour today. My Mets lost and the Niners lost. So today I woke up and I'm like, yeah, sort of feel a little like ass. If your team ties, do you feel good about that? Like after the game, even when the players were bro hugging and the coaches were shaking hands, it almost feels like an odd, like, when you're at a blackjack table and you're like, sweet, I got a 20, and the dealer flips a 20 and you're like, oh.
Well, it was better for Packers fans than running out of time there at the end with that pass that went out of bounds.
No,
because that would have been a disaster.
They're so lucky that ball immediately went down.
1 second to go. I just think ties happen so infrequent. Like they had, was a couple years ago we had like 2 or 3 in a season, but I think you just sort of move on and deal with it because they happen infrequently enough that most of the time you do have a winner and a loser. But it happens, and it is a weird feeling. It's like you have to tell your kids this one like thing that happens that doesn't happen very often, but you have to explain it, and you're like, well, it's like not a win or a loss. It's a tie. It's a draw.
I don't know. I mean, I like it because, again, I feel like it's at the end of the season, it's always fun because it messes up your playoff positions and standings and rankings. Just for all you know, towards the end of the year, the Lions and Packers, they might be battling, and it's like, ooh, that half a game is either going to work for or against the Packers. So you're right, better than a loss, but do we think ties stink?
From 2017 to 2024, we had 7 tie games in the NFL.
So I guess, you know what? I'll defend the tie and say it's so rare that it's sort of fun. Mixes it up. I just don't know what the fan bases feel like afterwards. It really is. It's like, imagine.
All right.
I can't really think of anything else that feels like I'm not happy, but I'm not mad.
Can I change your mind on this?
Yes.
1974 to 2011. So if we had 7 ties from 2017 to 2024.
Yeah.
From 1974 to 2011, 37 years, how many ties do you think we had in the NFL?
Way more.
Ooh.
So if we had 7 in that 7-year span, how many do you think we had in a 37-year span?
Ooh.
You want to go around? You want to see?
Yeah, I feel like, oddly, every year as a kid there was like, I know the Niners had a tie one year, and I know that less though. I'm going to say 25.
25?
Yeah.
So this is over 30 how many years?
74 to 2011.
Yeah, 37 years.
I'm going to say 50.
Okay. Danny?
I'll say 23.
We had 17. So you guys were in the ballpark. But if you were to take the 7 years times that from the previous window times, this 5 times, you'd have thought we would have had 35 to 40 ties.
Yeah.
If under the previous format it was in going along that same pace. But it's not. It's way ahead of that pace. So there were only 17 in 37 years, yet in the previous 7 years we had 7 ties.
I heard this morning.
Wait. Why is that though? Is that because didn't they
change
the rule?
No, it's because of what Rich is talking about. Yeah, it's because of the 10-minute quarters. It used to just be this sudden death of a team scoring, and there were 15-minute quarters at that time.
You score 15 minutes, you score, you win, and then it was score. If it's a touchdown, you win. Field goal, they have a chance to match it. It was just more of a chance for something to happen. 10 minutes in the NFL, that's like, again, Dan Byer said it, It's like 2 drives tops.
So
once a year, and at one point we were averaging about one every 3 years. Now they're having once a year because of the new rules.
So for a long time, the rule was sudden death, but if neither team could just score, period, it ended in a tie.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't.
It was
a couple
7 years ago, 8 years ago now, in 2017, that they shortened the overtime from 5 to 10 minutes. And during that 7-year span, we averaged about a tie a season, and they were very rare when we were growing up.
Was there a couple years ago where there was like 2 or 3 in a season?
There's been a couple. Now I heard this morning someone was saying Dan Patrick and the Danettes were discussing like should there be some fun type of like kicking contest, like in soccer there's at the end of the game they'll do
penalty kicks,
like penalty kicks. What if your field goal kickers went out there and they're like, all right, now we're gonna go 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, like. Do we want to see that? College football seems like everyone loves that, but I feel like the NFL is so resistant to do that.
I don't think everybody loves college football.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's too gimmicky after a hard-fought NFL game.
Yeah, especially with college kickers and putting it that way.
You have to do like 2-point conversions after a certain amount of overtimes, and it gets a little crazy.
What I think is interesting is this point of how do you settle it? Because we only go to penalty kicks after you play extra time in soccer. Like there is a whole extra time period where you then go to penalty kicks. Same thing here. Like we've played a 10-minute overtime period. We are still tied. So going to a kickoff, I have a branch off idea of that. It's like name that tune. You bid on how far you can make the kick.
Ooh.
So if a team says, all right, we can make it from 50, and then the other team says, we can make it from 55, we can make it from 58, we can make it from 60, make that kick.
You know what this is like? There was a game show, I feel like, where they were like, I can name that song in 3 notes.
How great.
I can name that song in 2 notes.
Yeah, all of a sudden now the Cowboys have to kick a 68-yard field goal, and if they miss it, the Packers win? Like, that would be amazing. That would be what drama.
That is wild.
How about if we put both head coaches in the center of the field and have them do rock, paper, scissors?
Danny G,
You suck, Pete Carroll.
what's interesting
You did paper?
is that, people will love to be like, oh, the biggest international sport is definitely soccer, football. And there are ties all the time, right? Soccer is one of those games that often, I know this from watching Ted Lasso, soccer ends in ties. And it seems
not a lot of scoring.
It seems like that international audience is okay with it. Maybe we're just used to the NFL. It's so rare that a tie just feels like, so wait, the Cowboys and Packers battle. The return of Micah Parsons. Going to Jerry Jones in the booth every 10 minutes to see his reaction. A 40-40. And we just walk away like, tie game.
The reason I think is because at least in soccer, you get a point for it.
Yeah.
You at least come away. You didn't get the full 3, but you get something from it. Here, I feel like you're only going to be happy at the end of the year when... And it will help one of the teams because as much as you'd love to have the win, you don't have the loss.
Yeah,
in the loss
like
columns,
I said, watch, the Packers are going to be 12-4-1 or something like that. They're going to be like 11-5-1. Someone else is going to be 11-6, and that half a game may help them, or could be the opposite. We don't know. But just it's a good one. It's I feel like I'm torn on it, but I do feel like if I had a pick, if you're saying, Rich, make a decision.
We're such a passing league now. Instead of kicking a field goal thing at the end for sudden death, what if we did each quarterback goes on the field and see how far they can throw the football, almost like a javelin throw?
Now you're talking about a punt, pass, and kick competition at the end of a game. You know what?
It's like the Pro Bowl.
I do have other thoughts. Obviously, we have just started our things that made you go, Week 4 of the NFL.
Things that make you go.
We're going to take all your feedback. I see the phones are hot. Let's go. Covino and Rich, all your observations. Football, hey, throw in baseball if you want. It was the final weekend. Did your MVP decision in your mind change? And I have a thought about the wild card round that starts tomorrow. So we'll get to all that and more. Action-packed Monday. Covino and Rich right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Have you ever been done dirty in a pic? Well, the 76ers did Jared McCain dirty in a picture that went viral because he's sitting there posing in front of a bench press, but on that bench press are 2.5-pound weights. Look at this, 2.5-pound weights. So that's a total of 50 pounds. 45-pound bar, 5 pounds, 50 pounds. He's benching 50 pounds. The only guy I know that lifts less than that is this guy, Rich Davis, and his Pee Wee Herman workout. But it got us thinking of other pics where athletes got done dirty. Oh. And the first one that comes to mind is the Tom Brady Combine. Because this one just never stopped showing up. Well, haunted him his whole career.
It's not so much that he looks bad. He just looks like an average fella. But it's Tom Brady, the studliest,
it was
winning men.
Look how far he's come from that. He's sitting there in his boxer shorts, all pale. Just like our next one, which I find to be the ultimate disrespect because I think it diminishes our GOATs like Tom Brady, and that's the Michael Jordan cry face. Michael Jordan, they did him so dirty with that cry face everywhere, all over social media. Poor Michael Jordan.
And he acknowledges it because at the late, great Kobe Bryant's service, he said, I'm going to try to keep my stuff together. I'm going to try to keep my shit together because I don't need another cry face.
Yeah.
So he knows it's out there.
Another time where an athlete got done dirty is your boy. And I loved it, though. I loved it. Your boy.
It's my boy.
Juan Soto.
Dude, this was a bad angle. Juan Soto is not a fatso.
You remember when Juan Soto was putting on the Mets jersey and he was there and he was like 6 months pregnant? Remember that? I loved that as a Yankees fan at the time.
He just had a big lunch. He went to Carmine's.
I could be he.
He had some street meat.
He was just at the Shake Shack. But it makes me think of Patrick Mahomes too because it's always, look how soft he is. He's the GOAT. He's the guy.
Bod. He's got the dad bod.
He became the poster boy for dad bods everywhere because he's not as ripped as you would think he is.
Well, again, if you watch Quarterback.
Man, you guys did me dirty.
If you watch Quarterback on Netflix, you realize he's so pliable and flexible. And
Pliable?
No, he does.
Clay?
But if you've seen his workout, it has nothing to do with weight training. He is bending in all weird positions so that he could get crushed by, like a Max Crosby and survive. So
yeah, it doesn't affect his gameplay by any means. It doesn't matter, but unflattering and it goes viral.
Yeah.
And there's one picture for me in particular, Rich, where it's haunted me for the past, how long have we been here in California now?
10 years.
For 10 years. Now, there's a random story, but our very first broadcast...
Sounds like a name drop, too, by the way.
It does. But our very first broadcast, it's not bragging if it's true, here in Los Angeles was at Henry Winkler's house. Much like he said to Patrick Mahomes, you have a spot at my table. Remember he said that to Mahomes?
And we took him up on it.
And Mahomes was like, oh, man, better believe it, Fonz, I'll be there. He said that to us. When you guys get to California, you could broadcast at my home. And we did. And he served us bagels and lox and food, and they snapped a picture. And I looked like an extra of The Sopranos. I look like Bobby Bacalao. I don't know what happened in this photo.
Do you have gabagool in your cheeks? Did you shove some?
It was a long road trip of partying and drinking and debauchery. I was bloated. I don't know what was going on there. And then not only was this a terrible photo.
It's the photo that keeps on giving because the more you look at it, the more you see.
But I got done dirty in that photo. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't looking. I turned around, snap.
All right, when you talk about getting done dirty, then I think I might win because we had the legend, Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, on our show. Someone said, are we smiling or are we doing rock horns? And someone goes, we're smiling. So I was like, all right, let me get ready to do my cheesy smile. And then someone else goes, no. Rock horns. It's Dee Snider. You're rocking out. So in that moment, I was like, wait, am I doing rock horns or am I smiling? And I fucking did both.
I mean, not that I look cool, but you look like the cheesiest guy that ever was. You look like you're just so cheese-tastic in that photo.
But do you get my explanation? I wasn't sure. Are we smiling?
Are you Spider-Man?
Wait, are we smiling or are we doing rock horns?
That's just
the
how you rock.
Looks
no, that's
corny
you
as hell.
rocking. That's your most rockingest photo that ever was.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe.
Ooh, some bad bunny. Are you guys ready for the Super Bowl halftime show or what?
Spicy.
Go get your Rosetta Stone. All right, Covino and Rich doing it live on Fox Sports Radio. Now, the LG X-Boom Grab, the portable speaker that powers your hustle. Play some bad money. From morning coffee runs to midnight rooftop hangs, enjoy vibrant sound with up to 20 hours of playback. And now save 25% at LG.com. Life's good. Code FALL25. Bring the boom, X-Boom. And if you ever wanted to try an Olympic and Paralympic sport, try fencing. It's fast, safe, and easy to start. Find a beginner class near you at usfencing.org/tryfencing. That's usafencing.org/tryfencing. Now, let's go to the phones. Let's go to your feedback. Things that made you go, week 4 of the NFL.
Things that make you go.
And, of course, we already talked about Bad Bunny. So if you have thoughts on that. But the next thing that pops up is overtime. There's a tie last night on a Sunday night game. The most viewed game of the week every week, especially Cowboys-Packers. Probably, arguably, I bet you, top 3 game of the year so far, right? Ratings-wise. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys-Packers. I can only imagine the numbers were huge. 40-40, high score, great game. And everyone walks away just like, I don't know. How do you feel about this?
You know, there's something else to your point that I think that we don't think of. So last night when the coin flip happened, and we go back to Super Bowl 58.
Yeah. Oh.
And the 49ers taking the ball, right? And that was so last night, Packers win the toss and defer. They say they want to kick off. But if you were to add 5 more minutes, like in that scenario, if both teams kicked a field goal, it's then advantage Cowboys because you would get another possession.
Exactly.
Which I think would negate the value of the coin toss, which is very valuable that you can go second in that situation.
Yeah. So listen, how do you fix it? Are DB and I onto something? Like if you had 5 minutes, does it just sort of fix it enough?
It solves
right?
so much.
Add 5 minutes. Add 5 minutes.
But that game was so back and forth. What if that 5 minutes was just spent trading, scores?
But what we're saying,
it does give you a chance to,
2 possessions equals about 10 minutes, and you saw that in overtime, and then overtime was over, tie game.
Yes.
So that extra 5 would allow someone else just to kind of
take
the lead.
It would allow Dallas, who did not win the toss. Green Bay had their advantage of going second. It now shifts to Dallas having an advantage where they could then be able to score and end the game because both teams would have a possession.
Exactly. And then Dallas gets the ball with 4 or 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, Green Bay uses their timeouts. They get the ball back, try to kick a game winner. That extra 5 minutes, I think, is the simple fix.
I think the coin toss, it's at the start of the game, it's not a bigger deal. Most teams defer and take the ball at the second half. But when you're talking about overtime, it is a really big deal. There's a lot of weight on that coin toss. By adding 5 minutes, at least it gives the team that loses that coin toss a little bit of value at the back end of it if it works out their way.
Agreed. 100%. Let's go to Dave in Oregon. You're on with Covino and Rich. What's up, Dave?
My nights are nonsense. How you doing, fellas?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Let's think outside the box on this.
Okay.
I was talking to Danny G about this.
All right.
Why don't we just get rid of the game clock and same rules apply until we get a winner?
No game clock. Just get rid of the clock. I thought you were going to say mud wrestling with the cheerleaders. No? All right, Cliff in North Carolina. Cliff, how do you solve overtime? Or do you like the tie? I imagine there's some people that are like, no, a tie's a tie. It messes up the standings. It shakes it up. What do you think, Cliff?
I think there's only winners and losers. There's no tie.
I hate telling my kids in kids sports. I hate when I have to lie to my kids and be like, "Oh, we're not keeping score. It's a tie," because someone did better. Someone always does better. I hate a tie.
As Herman Edwards would say, you play to win the game. You don't play to tie.
DB,
guess how long overtime is in the postseason?
How long?
15 minutes.
Bingo.
Till you find a winner. Go another 15 minutes. And so
it's just such a simple
It's only
fix.
done for TV.
That's
the only reason why it's 10 minutes. They want it done. They want it wrapped up. And if people aren't satisfied, then make the change.
You play to win the game.
I mean, I think you do. All right, so there you have it. That was something that made us go,
My wife last night, you were saying you were explaining to your in-laws about what was going on. My wife is like, well, then what happens for the people who bet? So I was
Did you get your money back?
I don't even want to talk about it. Can I tell you what happened?
You had the same conversation?
Nothing. I'm not even joking.
Give me my money back.
No one likes to hear other people's bad beats, but I'm the host, so let me share for a second. I did a bet that I didn't even announce on the air. I bet what I bet on the air. Did all right this week. I said, you know what? I don't really have much action left. Let me do a teaser bet for Sunday Night Football, and I like the Broncos tonight. So I had the Broncos in a teaser. That's where you play with 6 points. It was Packers by 6.5. So I had Packers minus half a point, and the Cowboys. And the Broncos tonight had minus 1.5. So I was like, all right, Packers by a half a point and Broncos tonight, that feels good. Half a point?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. So it does burn some people. One other observation, then we'll go to Dan Byers' update. We'll take all your feedback. Danny G, any final thoughts on the tie?
No final thoughts on that. I'm just thinking of the actual game, the other games now.
All right. My observation is that we're talking about overtime. The kicking game in the NFL has changed so dramatically from when we were younger. If you're a kid of the 80s or 90s, or even you, let's say you go back to the 70s, a field goal kicker was considered of high value. If he could kick a field goal, like 40-something yards?
Oh, yeah.
That was like a boot. We forget the Buffalo Bills lost the Super Bowl on a missed 39-yard field goal. And I almost want to argue that it wasn't even so automatic back in 1990, 91, 92. Like, it wasn't so automatic. Now, what used to be a miracle field goal, like, oh my God, he's going to line up for something over 50 yards. I feel like most teams with confidence could kick a 50-yard field goal. Is that a fair statement compared to 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, I saw a couple of teams settling for 50-yarders yesterday on the Packers with McManus, and then even Danny's Raiders against the Bears.
Dude, and sometimes these guys will knock a field goal through the uprights. Let's say it's a 53-yarder, and I'm like, that had 10 yards extra on it. It's hitting the net. When a 53-yard field goal hits the net, that could have went for 60-something yards. And you're seeing, because of that, though, the trajectory of the kick has changed. So
drives.
You're seeing line drive, 60-yard bomb field goals that are like happening on the regular, but you're seeing more blocked field goals because when you're kicking a 60-yard attempt, you can't not try to put a little distance on it. And by distance, science guy Rich Davis here, your angle changes. So I think the kicking game has changed special teams and everything completely.
Yeah, the big uglies are learning how to time it perfectly and get their big mitts up there to block it.
Because these aren't like athletic guys that are jumping, in the air. These are just big dudes sticking the paw up.
Yes, and I do think that the kicking game has evolved to the point, because it's a little bit like golf, where if you can hit your 9-iron 20 or 30 yards further, it's still going to get the same sort of trajectory and get high up. I feel these guys can get the ball higher, and they don't need to be as low anymore. So what was a 50-yarder back in the day at that trajectory is now a 62-yard field goal at that trajectory that is more likely to be blocked.
I find it wild that the field goal kicker has become, in my opinion, such a more important. Listen, special teams is always such a key element of a game, but I think more so than ever, having a kicker you can rely on is so important. I know that seems like an obvious statement, but when you get there's guys where you're like, if we get across the 50, we might have a chance. If you get it to the 40, 45-yard line on the other side, I think we could do this. That's a wild thought. That's a very big advantage for good kickers. All right, let's go to Dan for an update. We'll see what's going on. What's up, DB?
Yeah, guys, this is what John Harbaugh had to say about Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, who suffered that hamstring injury in yesterday's game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
There was no way he was going to go back in the game. The injury precluded it. During the game, you really you're playing the next series as a coach, but there was no way he could go back in the game. I know Lamar. I know the way I know Lamar. If he could have gone in the game, he would have been in the game. That's how he is.
Ravens have the Texans coming up in Week 5. Harbaugh says they'll know more Wednesday about Lamar's status for that game. Harbaugh did reveal that defensive lineman Nnamdi Madubuike is going to miss the rest of the season because of a neck injury. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy had a setback with his toe injury. His status for Thursday's game against the Rams up in the air. Wide receiver Ricky Pearsall suffered an injury to the PCL in his knee. His status for Week 5 is not known at this time. And speaking of knee injuries to wide receivers, Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors officially placed on injured reserve. His season is over after he tore his ACL in yesterday's win over the Chargers. Week 4 tonight, Jets and Dolphins, 7:15 Eastern. Bengals and Broncos, 8:15 Eastern time tonight. Couple of other notes. Raiders tackle Colton Miller could miss multiple weeks because of an apparent high ankle sprain, and the Texans traded tackle Cam Robinson to the Browns as the teams also swapped late-round picks. San Francisco Giants fired skipper Bob Melvin after 2 seasons, and after 7 seasons, Rocco Baldelli's tenure as the Twin skipper is over. Led Minnesota to the postseason 3 times, never got past the divisional series. Looking for a new skipper in the Twin Cities. Rich, back to you.
Yo, thank you, Dan Byer. And hey, we got the whole crew here. Danny G, Iowa Sam, Spotty's on the videos, and Dan Byer. Thank you guys for hanging. Little group today. Right? We got the band here. Everyone's chiming in. Covino's away for the day. When it comes to things that made you go, let me bring up one more football note. We're going to go over a lot of football. Don't get me wrong. I just had one baseball thought as well. The baseball note is, I feel like the Mets not only blew it for the fans, not only blew it for their owner, who does nothing but spend money and treat these players and families. Steve Cohen must be sick to his stomach. So I want to go over Steve Cohen's statement, but you blew it! When you look at the wild card games that are going on this week, MLB ratings are going to be huge because they're not competing with much. You got what? Thursday Night Football. Besides that, baseball, wild card, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Listen to these matchups. Tigers, Guardians, who have been battling all year. The Tigers let it slip away. So Tigers, Guardians. Padres, who are so fun. Tatis and Machado, they're going to play in Wrigley versus the Cubs. Red Sox, Yankees. And the Mets blew it for baseball because it would have been Mets-Dodgers, but now it's Reds-Dodgers. Who cares about the Reds? Unless you live in Cincinnati. Is that not the most bunk, last-minute, 83 win? It's embarrassing. But we'll talk a little baseball, playoffs, and, of course, all the things that made you go, in the NFL. More Covino and Rich next.
Covino and Rich get you over the middle of the week with Midweek Major.
Hi, guys. Hey, Spot. How are you?
Hi, Spot.
Let's jump right in. All right.
Hi, Spot.
Mr. Unlimited himself, Danger Russ Wilson, spoke out today about his recent benching, making way, of course, for backup QB Jackson Dart to step up as starter. But despite losing his starting gig, Russ is not fazed. So during today's press conference, he said, quote, I think for me personally, I'm not done. I've got so much belief in myself, and I know what I'm capable of. I know I can help this football team if it comes up. Wilson threw for 450 passing yards, 3 touchdowns in week 2, but understands that the NFL is a business. He said, quote, you can control your attitude, you can control your gratitude, and those 2 things are important because I love the game and respect it. Dart also spoke out at the press conference, saying he knows he's got to go all out in his debut, midweek or major.
You know, Dart's got the start, but, Russ has a Super Bowl. He is a, borderline Hall of Famer. And what I love about Russell Wilson is that you can make fun of him. We all can. I've done it. Dangerous, Mr. Unlimited. He's corny at times. But you know what? On the day he gets benched, you know what he spent the day doing? Visiting children at Mount Sinai Hospital.
What a man.
Guys visiting sick kids, being a great member of society. The Giants stink. Move on to Dart. I think this is major.
Definitely major.
Because he's got a great attitude, and you know what? He's made tens of millions of dollars. Who cares? He'll get a chance somewhere again. But I don't know. I like Russ. I think he's a good dude. The Giants do need to make a move, though.
I actually agree with everything Rich said. Shocker, major.
Definitely
I think it's major. I think he's handling it well. He says all the right things. He has a great outlook on it. He's understanding that it is just a business move, I think, at this point. Like, they got to put him in there. Daboll has nothing else to do. Plus, they can possibly save the season. Why not? They even got Young Ho Koo on their practice squad. So they're trying to make some moves here. And I think major, but I also think that he can't beat Father Time. I think he did lose a step. He may have a lot to give, but he's not the same player.
No, I mean, listen.
I think his mind is saying yes, but his body's like, eh.
Kind of like his body's telling me no.
No, but it's like Canelo and Crawford. It's like, Canelo thought he had this fight. He could do it. His head was there, but his body didn't react the same way.
Yeah.
Definitely major.
Wrapping it up with Tommy Brady officially firing back at critics who are questioning his conflict of interest, as of course as a Fox broadcaster and minority owner of the Raiders. So he released a newsletter today, Tommy's newsletter, saying that it's his duty to utilize his knowledge of the sport, and anyone who doesn't see it is paranoid and distrustful. So he spoke at length about the importance of doing one's job, and that for him means growing the game of football by sharing his experiences on Fox broadcast and assisting in bringing the Raiders back to relevance. He said with the success that football has given him, he has a moral and ethical duty to the sport. And he said that anyone who opposes his dual jobs is blinded by distrust, and it's hard to see beyond their self-interest. He actually went on to really lean into his haters. It was like a crazy rant.
I think this is
major.
This is major.
Definitely major.
I'm Team Tom Brady on this. I think we all love to just lead with skepticism and cynicism. I think Tom Brady's great for the game. He's a legend. In fact, yesterday I was bummed that we didn't bring up. It was the anniversary yesterday of when he took over for Drew Brees, and the rest is history. So yesterday was the 24th anniversary of when he took. Did I say Brees? Drew Bledsoe. When he took over for Bledsoe, that was 24 years ago yesterday. He's been great for the game. Biggest winner. And everything Tom Brady does, I think, is great for football. So I'm Team Brady on this one. Major.
Breeze is in the news, though. Going to be commentating on First Take.
Oh, nice.
But it is major because it's Tom
Definitely
Brady.
major.
But it doesn't come from nowhere. It's like that guy, that married guy that got caught cheating, and it sort of lives with him for the rest of his life. Tommy's been in some.
All right, buddies. Covino and Rich. On a Monday where I should be in a crappy mood, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. My Mets are out of it. The Niners lost, sort of a heartbreaker.
The Mets suck.
Mets do suck. You're right. But we got to tell you about the play of the day. Live from the Fox Sports Radio studio, our Tire Rack play of the day. The Rams put a stop to the Colts' hot start.
Lobs the ball, left side, Tutu's open, over the shoulder, catch 40, Tutu down the left sideline with a vapor trail behind him, 10-5, touchdown LA!
Woo! Man, Rams, courtesy of the Rams Radio Network. That was the Tire Rack play of the day. For over 40 years, Tire Rack has been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free, backed by free road hazard protection. Convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, buddy.
You know what's crazy about that play? Me and Danny both witnessed it live in person because we were at that game yesterday.
Well, you guys went?
We got tickets through work here, thanks to Scott Shapiro, our boss, and we were sitting right next to each other, and we got to watch that whole game play out.
Look at you guys.
It was fun.
I feel bad for our boss. Didn't Scott go to see the Vikings?
He went over there to Ireland, but he gets a little trip involved there. So
yeah. If you make a nice trip like that, does your team losing put a damper on it, or is it like, no, I'm making the best of it. I'm in Ireland.
Yeah, this is a regular season game. It's a one-off. I think it's more about going to see your team than what the actual outcome is.
Tomlin almost gave it back to them. He decided to punt there. See the end of that game? And the Vikings, if it wasn't for the intentional grounding call and a couple of errors, they would have got into field goal range.
Ooh, and by the way, just like that, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are 3-1, everybody. 3-1, everybody. And it's not pretty, but they're 3-1, man.
Yeah, it's not even close. and when you look at how they did it, so the Jets game, remember, wild week 1.
60-something-yard field goal, yeah.
Seahawks beat them. The Caleb Johnson, sorry, Sam, miscue, completely turned the game over. Last week, the Patriots turned the ball over 5 times. A couple of times as they're about to score, they win by 7, and then they have this thing and whatever you want to call what they did against the Vikings.
Saying, Aaron Rodgers still bringing it.
I'll also say this, something that Rich and I love, and I sent a tweet, and it went viral, meaning like one person liked it yesterday. Yeah. But we finally saw what the Vikings end zone would look like if they made a Super Bowl. Now the NFL is putting every team in the end zone. They did it with the Chargers and Chiefs, having both of the team names in Brazil. This week, it's Vikings and Browns in London. I'm curious if we're going to see a Browns end zone. What would you do with the logo? Do you do a helmet? Do you put the little Browns guy, Brownie guy?
We haven't had to think about this because they've never been to a Super Bowl.
But I'm wondering if we're going to see it when they play on Sunday.
Also, how crazy is it? The Vikes are going to be the first team to play back-to-back international games.
The Jaguars.
You think they're excited about the stamps on their passport? Like my wife loves getting the stamps on the passport.
Oh, I'm sure they love it. But yeah, to do the 2 different countries, the Jaguars stayed back-to-back weeks
in the same
couple
place.
Of times. Yeah, in London they played back-to-back weeks. But to go from Dublin to Ireland, not that far, but still different scenery.
I have like a pervy question. Do you think those guys are just getting a lot of international tail when they're like overseas for a week or so and they're sticking around and traveling? Do you think these guys are like, well, I'm in a foreign land, let me start you think they're swiping? Spot, what do you think? You're on those apps and so you think these guys are swiping away their NFL stars in a foreign country?
They know better.
Well, we're talking about Brazil versus Europe?
Avoiding the drama? I don't know.
Did you see what happened to the Steelers' backup quarterback, Skylar Thompson?
Well, yeah, he's out at 3-4 in the morning. Got
jumped
robbed,
and
right?
robbed, yeah.
Oh, luckily he's all good. All right, other things that made you go, week 4 of the NFL. Danny G, I got to say your Raiders, when Genty stands up before he receives the ball?
Yeah, and when JPJ is on the O-line like we talked about on Friday's show.
Genty finally showed everyone what we thought he was going to be from week 1, but hey, he's a rook, man. Week 4, it was cool to see him bust open those high steps, 64-yard touchdown?
They gave him some running room, too.
So that was pretty cool. Your team lost, but you know what? You saw some good signs, right? What an emotional week for Giants fans, right? You got to see Jackson Dart, but then you also find out the sad fate of Malik Neighbors. So we'll talk more NFL week 4 right here, Covino and Rich.
next year begins the robot era. Robot era begins.
Happy
That's
birthday,
a
Paulie.
Strike 3.
Is
You're out.
Wait, is it the robot from Rocky 4? Happy birthday, Paulie.
No, man. It's awesome. MLB is going to implement the automated ball strike challenge system in 2026 after the league's competition committee approved robot umpiring.
Well, let me tell
Human
you.
umpires obviously will
course.
call every pitch, so you're still going to have the human element, so don't be crying about
But
it.
I think
They're not taking our jobs.
But I think there's some idiots that just read a headline, because I've already seen people saying, like, man, no more umps. It's like, no, buffoons, umps.
Teams can appeal 2 calls per game to ABS.
They didn't take our advice, Rich.
I said,
Strike 3.
make it a third, right? If you
You get the first 2 right, they should have given you a third.
But you know what, Danny G? We saw it executed in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game this year.
Yeah, it worked.
Edwin Diaz was on the hill for the NL. He thought he cut the corner on a third strike. He did a quick tap of the hat within 3 seconds. Boop, boop, boop,
I think
boop,
it takes
strike
up
3.
to 13 seconds is what I heard. But, I mean, it feels very quick. And what is really cool about it is that it's very interactive. During the All-Star experience, we all saw, like, oh, it was a strike. Like, it goes right to the screen. You're there. You get to be part of the process at the game and on TV because you're seeing it. And if you could see it, they got to get it right.
There is
plain
a
and simple.
great strategy also involved where do you use these challenges? If it's the first inning and there's 2 outs, no one on, is your guy going to be like, no, tap, tap, tap? Like, you might want to save
It's actually,
these.
the technical term is rap, tap, tappy.
Oh, if you want to do a little rap, tap, tappy, rap, tap, tappy, rap, tap, tappy.
You have to get a little come
on the kick drum.
Come
on
on
the kick drum.
And a rap, tap, tappy.
So I think this is great. And
you kidding me? Innovate or die. This is the next step into getting it right and helping the game move along. Some people, like
keeping
Big Mike,
keeping a human layer to this, right?
Mike is like, forget the human layer. And maybe we're getting to that eventually because
Who?
I'm a fan of the human layer as well.
You know, Big Mike who runs this
But
place?
Mike was like, yo, man,
Never
speed
heard
it
of
up
him.
all the way.
No,
Speed it up.
Big Mike actually said, self-checkout everywhere. I want people to lose their jobs, I believe is a Big Mike
The
said.
rules are simple. ABS challenge rules. Each team gets 2 challenges and can keep them if they're successful. Challenges can only be initiated by a pitcher, catcher, or a batter. No belly itchers, Rich. Pitchers,
Okay,
not
pitchers,
belly
okay.
itchers. And the request must come right after the pitch. To signal a challenge, the pitcher, or catcher, or batter taps his hat or helmet to the umpire. No help from the dugout, which was weird to me because that's obvious, but with all the ways they communicate from dugout to catcher and everything else, there's no way.
If
How are
everyone's
they gonna
saying,
implement that rule?
challenge,
Right.
then you're going to do it.
How are they going to implement that rule?
Dan Byer, I'm not a man that listens to everything Rob Manfred in baseball says, but I really feel like everything from the pitch clock to the bases to the man on second and extra innings, which I thought I wouldn't like, all these things I feel like have been good for baseball. Are you opposed as a traditionalist or no?
No, I'm not opposed. I do think that we are so focused on the robot aspect of it that I think we need to develop like a character, like a cartoon, like a caricature of like a judge who will then hand down the ruling on if it The season is over for Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors. He did suffer a torn ACL in yesterday's win over the Chargers, was placed on injured reserve, and yes, won't play again this season. NFL Network reports Chargers left tackle Joe Alt is expected to miss multiple weeks because of a high ankle sprain suffered yesterday against the Giants. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy didn't practice today, and neither did wide receivers Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings on the team's estimated practice report. Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan said Purdy had a setback with his toe injury following yesterday's loss to the Jaguars. His status is in question for Thursday's game against the Rams. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh said Lamar Jackson couldn't have returned to yesterday's game because of his hamstring injury. They'll know more Wednesday on Jackson's status for Week 5 against the Texans. Ravens defensive lineman Nnamdi Madubuike is going to miss the rest of the year with a neck injury. Minnesota Twins parted ways with manager Rocco Baldelli after 7 seasons. Giants fired manager Bob Melvin after 2 seasons. I'm Dan Byer.
Oh, I could do Covino impressions, too. We could do both. Yo, Aaron Judge, he's the best. MVP, go Yanks. Pinstripes, baby. No, is that any good?
And if he was here right now, he'd say, how about your Mets?
He would say that. I owe that guy a couple $1,000, and I hate every second of it. We're going to talk more baseball tomorrow, Danny. I'm going to put my baseball thoughts aside until we get the wild card going tomorrow. But I must say one thing as we're live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. I have to say, when your team loses a playoff spot to a team that's hot, like if the Cleveland Guardians go 19-4 over the last 23 games and you somehow lose out, you could accept it. The Reds are mediocre at best. That's the embarrassing part of it, but I'm going to compose myself. I'm going to think about it until tomorrow. But right now, again, we are live from the TireRack.com studio. I'm sorry, the Fox Sports Radio studio. And, hey, there isn't just one game. It's a once-in-a-generation event. The Harlem Globetrotters, the 100-year tour. Come be a part of a legacy that never stops. Be there when history is made. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com. Maybe the legend of Curly Neal will throw a bucket of confetti at you. And with the iHeart app, just know that you could stream us whenever you want. Catch us live on the Fox Sports Radio 24/7 in the new and improved iHeart app. And you can watch right now on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Covino and Rich FSR. Now, coming up in a little bit, we are going to watch, we're going to play Last One Standing. That's the game we play every Monday. Maybe I could win that. Since all my teams lose, maybe I could win something.
You can watch us on our YouTube channel.
Watch us. Watch us now. YouTube.com/Covino and Rich FSR. But let's go back to your phone calls, your feedback, things that made you go, Week 4 of the NFL. I said, Danny, the Giants must have had an emotional day, right? I mean, you get a glimpse of Dart, and my wife was watching him in the post game, and she's like, he's so young. I'm like, I mean, babe, we're like 40 now. We're not 20 anymore. You see these kids, and you're like, oh my God, they're.
Does she like the turtleneck and the bling look?
You know what it is though? You forget because Covino. Let me play Covino for a second since he's not here. That's a corny look, bro. He'll say things like that, and I'll love to tell him, yeah, you know what? Because Jackson Dart could be your kid. You hit a certain age where you have to accept what these guys wear to the postgame. You look foolish wearing as a 40-year-old guy, but Jackson Dart with the clear frames and just, he's almost got a little of the alpaca hair a little bit. Handsome young kid. Showed that
that's alpaca.
He could play. That was one game I think we all did not see coming. The Chargers, we thought, well, the Chargers will just win this. Maybe we'll see Jackson Dart with a couple moments. But, hey, Giants played well. And I think Cam Scatterbo is just a good, fun guy to watch. I think that team has good personality for a team that's sort of not there yet, but almost,
Yeah, the crushing news of Malik Neighbors is really going to hurt the good vibes for today.
That's the one thing. You're right.
I hope I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I feel like when you see the outcome of this game, you're like, should have seen it from a mile away. Cross country, early start.
Yeah.
You underestimate the Giants because they're starting a new quarterback. What are they going to do? Justin Herbert throws a couple of bad interceptions. One they take back almost to the house, which sets up a score for them. And everything that went wrong for the Chargers ended up going wrong. And you kind of look back and you're like, oh, yeah, that's just one of those that – it was only 6.5 for the spread. It was the same amount that the Packers were favored over the Cowboys.
Well, DB, I did do it because I was just trash talking, but our friend Louie flied all the way from Vegas to New York to see his Chargers. And he was, trash talking my Raiders, and I said, "You just wait until Jackson Dart puts it on your Chargers. You're going down. You're losing." And he was sending me laughing emojis. We're gonna be 4-0, bro. And we all thought Jackson Dart. All of us talked about him during the NFL draft, and we knew that he was gonna soon be the face of the New York Giants. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out with him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, exciting young guy, but. You said it best. You had the high of, yo, Jackson Dart, this kid's got the goods. And then you're like, Malik Neighbors, out. Sort of a little crushing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you would be excited to see what those two would do together in his first year. And now it's like, gotta wait.
It's funny because the Chargers were a popular pick by some in survivor pools yesterday. Yeah. And I think that's, took some people out thinking that, like Danny's friend, 4-0. Easy peasy. Not the case.
Yeah, our video guy Sauger had the Chargers in his survivor pool.
You know, Dan Byer, you bring up a good point. I think us as, fans, broadcasters, regular guys, we forget that going across country isn't always easy. Like, it really is one of those understated things in sports when, do you think those guys want to fly 3,000 plus miles, early game, you're adjusting your body a little, jet lag. Like, that is a real thing. But when athletes are on the road, and sometimes you'll see in baseball when you're playing 300, I was going to say it feels like 365 days a year. When you're changing time zones, West Coast road trip, East Coast trip, and you see a good team lose to a sort of a lower team, it doesn't shock you,
It's one of those things as well where, and now it can't be the excuse for the Chiefs, but maybe it was in a different way. You look at now what the Chargers had to endure. Sure, they had a little extra time because they played Monday night against the Raiders in week 2, but they were all the way to Brazil, all the way back, then another road game. They play at home last week against the Broncos, physical, tough opponent in division, and then you have a shortened week essentially because you're flying out to the East Coast, and you wonder if maybe that travel earlier in the first couple of weeks ended up catching up with them yesterday.
When you
Rich,
talk about, I'm
sorry. Covino's not here, so I just have this. I can just interrupt you, and I
No,
don't even know
please
what I'm
do.
doing.
Go on.
I'm so sorry. I was going to say, listen to you being talking about American sports teams getting all, I'm out of my time zone, and I'm all out of it. What if you're playing sports in Russia where they have 11 time zones? How about that? 11.
That's why I've always felt bad for Ivan Drago when he used to have to fight in different time zones.
11 time zones.
Here's the something that made me go, With that, Spot's like, we're going to let that Iowa Sam Russian time zone joke fly. Now,
imagine how long the TV promos are. Like 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific, 7
they must be
Alaskan,
crazy,
6 Hawaii.
Sam. I think a couple weeks ago, we were, and I'm guilty.
What time in Boise?
I'll put my hand up. Guilty. When the Chiefs started out rough, and then you're like, oh man, then they got to play the Ravens and they got to play this. Right now, it shows you how unfortunate those blown opportunities the Broncos had, and how yesterday losing to the Giants. Right now, Kansas City's right there. They're just 2-2. Like everything that we thought, everything was going wrong for the Chiefs. Next week they could be right back in the mix. They get to play the Chargers again. We'll see what happens there. But it's just interesting how quickly things change in the NFL. We were like writing the Chiefs off, and they're right there in the mix again.
And considering everything else kind of falling apart with the Ravens and the Chiefs doing some of that yesterday, it opens things up. Denver tonight. I mean, if you don't take care of business at home, you're behind the 8 ball a bit.
It's just, to me, that it's funny that they're just right back in the mix. And Baltimore at 1-3. I'm the fool that keeps saying, they'll be fine, but 1-3
I think they will be fine.
You think so?
I think at 1-3 they're still going to be okay.
The Ravens?
Yes.
Rich, I
have
told
a lot of
you.
injuries, I know
I
that.
told you last week not to bet on them. Remember? Did you still put your money on them?
A little bit, not a ton, but yeah, I thought the Ravens. I just thought I foolishly thought they just had more firepower, and I thought it was going to be a battle. They just couldn't do it.
Them losing Nnamdi Madubuike for the season. He suffered a neck injury in week 2. Really hurts their defense. And when you look at what their defense has done or not done in the last 2 weeks, I don't think if you don't have Lamar for the next 2 weeks, they have a bye in week 7.
Ooh, yeah.
So you've got the Texans and I believe it's the Rams the week after. Don't quote me on that.
I believe right. Yeah, they play. Ravens are home against the Texans, and then the following week they are home. They host the Rams.
Yes, and then you have a bye.
Yeah.
So if Lamar's hamstring injury is any significance, you're holding him out to the bye, right? Like there's.
Yeah. Man, that's a game as a Niners fan. I wanted the Ravens to beat the Rams, but
Me too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and for your Seahawks as well. So that was interesting. Rams looking good. You feel good about? You're a Seahawks fan.
Yeah, I don't feel good that they look good. But in the same breath, like I think that the Colts proved that they're for real yesterday. To go to LA and play like they did and have the opportunities that they had. The fumble at the goal line by Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's a killer. Mitchell had a holding call that called back a Jonathan Taylor touchdown run. All of those things. The Tutu Atwell play. Kerry Rhodes broke it down on our Sunday show on how Tutu Atwell got the 88-yard touchdown. There was also a guy that fell on the play. Maybe it was a bad defensive call. But the Colts were right there. That was something that I took away from yesterday's game that made me go, okay, the Colts are for real. That was their opportunity to show. The other one is the exact opposite. I know we all think that Mike McDaniel's going to get fired. Brian Callahan's going to be gone soon in Tennessee. Cam Ward, I know had his comments as well, but Callahan also is arguing with reporters again. Like they didn't score any points.
He was making someone questioned the guts or the I guess you would say the attitude of his team, and he got way defensive, way quick.
Did you hear the Cam Ward? I don't know if you're maybe going to get to it later.
Cam Ward said, he's the answer. Remember we always go over who's S? He pretty much said it. We're S.
Yeah.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have this one. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in.
All I can take from what's happened in Tennessee, and again, they're a team that we don't focus on a lot.
Yeah.
Last year, all I can remember is Brian Callahan yelling at Will Levis, like screaming at the top of his lungs at Will Levis, making these un-head coach-like things. I thought it was going to work. I thought that he would be able to take what he knew in Cincinnati and bring it over. You now have a new front office there. You don't score any points against the Texans. They missed a couple of field goals, or at least one I know for sure. And the Texans have a good defense, but that's just that one. If you have your first overall pick saying that after 4 games, and you've got new leadership in the front office, man, I think changes are coming quickly to Tennessee.
I hope no one on our show here ever tells the world we're ass. You wouldn't say that, right, guys? You want to come out and be like, hey, we ass?
No.
Thank you.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass.
Yeah,
especially a guy who's only been there 8 minutes, right?
Hey, guys, how do you feel about Covino and Rich? Oh, we ass. That's not a good sign for Cam Ward.
You hire a new producer to help with all these video things, and then 3 weeks in, they're like, yeah,
we asked. Sorry, guys. But, hey, any other observations? I think we sort of went over most things. Am I missing anything, guys? Am I missing anything? Let's go to Fred in West Virginia. Fred, what were your big observations this week in the NFL?
First thing off, I take a lot of delight in you're going to be really quiet about the Mets and the Reds conversation until tomorrow.
Thanks.
But no, I've got to. This is completely outside of the box.
Yeah.
It'll never happen. But I got to take on the tie. A way to fix the tie. Nobody wants to see a kicker decide it. Nobody wants to see that. It's boring. Okay, I think flip the coin. You go into overtime with absolutely 0 starters. Only bench players. Let the guys that have been watching the game, let them go out there and decide who's going to win this game.
You have to play overtime with your backup quarterback, backup running back, and wide receiver 3 and 4.
So it would suddenly turn into the preseason.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah, this is really exciting.
Preseason to end.
And by the way, Fred, you're a Reds fan, correct?
Hey,
Freddie, you're a Reds fan?
Yes, sir.
Do you see your Reds dancing in the clubhouse? I will say I thought that was pretty funny. People are mocking it. I just feel like they're having fun. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think they're having a blast. I can't believe they made it this far. I'm a Reds fan, have been all my life, and the fact they did anything after the All-Star break blows my mind.
Dude, the last time you guys were relevant, Chris Sabo was wearing goggles and Mark Schott was the owner. So, good for you guys. The Mets, I told you, I'm embarrassed as a Mets fan because it's not like when the Mets had collapsed in the past, it was in 07 or 08, you had teams like Philly, who had Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins, and these teams were good, and they were almost like franchises that went on to win something. The Reds win 83 games, and they were 500 in the second half. The Mets were just that much worse, so it's aggravating. But hey, in a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium with the Dodgers bullpen, luckily for you, Danny, I think the only bullpen worse than the Dodgers is the Reds bullpen.
Yeah. Rich, save it for tomorrow.
I'm saving it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
My baseball thoughts.
We were talking about all the time zones.
Yeah.
Brandon in Minnesota wants to weigh in on
What's up, Brandon? How are you, bud?
Yeah, so talking about time zones here as an excuse, but didn't a bunch of Europeans just fly to a whole different continent over the Atlantic Ocean and kick our asses?
That is true.
That's a good point.
That is true. But, I'll say this. If you had to pick what time zone is best to watch football on a Sunday, what is the best time zone? I feel like East Coast, because even though we live on the West Coast, we're in Los Angeles, I still call them the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, even though we're out here. Out here, 10 a.m., 1. Does Central got it right? Is it the noon and 3?
Central's the sweet spot,
Is that
baby.
the
Let's
sweet
go.
Growing up in Central, like it's just so natural that the NFL starts at noon. It's like you felt like the league decided noon.
That's pretty cool.
That I trust
Pop
me.
open a high noon at noon.
Yes.
I grew up in New York, and oh my goodness, one criticism I'll give of all New Yorkers: they think the world revolves around them, and it doesn't. But they think it does. East Coast kids convinced, like, well, the world certainly. This is the time zone. Stuff's too late. There are games where I'm getting a little tired here on the West Coast. I'm like, someone on the East Coast, fight nights. Canelo Alvarez walked out to the ring. I would think, what was it, after midnight Eastern, Danny, when we watched that fight 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
So I don't think East Coast got it right. But West Coast might be a little early. 10 a.m.'s a little, you're getting your coffee and football starting on a Sunday. So you're saying Central, huh?
I think Central, just because of where that noon is. It blew my mind with the Eastern time zone once when it was like 11:45. And this was before there were 2-hour pregame shows, but there was no pregame going on. There was another time I was out for Monday Night Football. We got done with golf, went and had dinner, came back, and the game wasn't on for another 30 minutes. This is a Monday night. Like, you're like, wait, I thought we're winding down and the game hasn't started.
The only thing about the West Coast that's sweet, and Danny, I think you'll agree, after a nice weekend of doing stuff with the kids and the family and stuff, you're watching all your football. The fact that Sunday Night Football is like great, it's around dinner time. So you almost feel like dinner time till probably, if you got kids, like dinner time till bedtime is Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
and
yesterday, starting at 6:30 a.m. our time, we had football all the way until the evening time. And you're right, you could take the family out to dinner and sneak a look over at the TVs at the bar and watch the Sunday night game.
But I remember as a kid, when Monday Night Football started at 9 o'clock East Coast time? But when Monday Night Football was your prime time thing, right? Before Sunday Night Football was the number one thing. I was only allowed to stay up the whole game if it was the Niners, because on the East Coast, my dad's like, yeah, this game's going to end after midnight. You got school, kiddo. So you guys never realized that life, not being able to stay up.
Here's a doozy for you. If you're a Michigan State Spartan fan, you're in East Lansing, Michigan. That's Eastern time, and your game against USC started at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That means your game didn't start until 11 p.m. Eastern time, and it didn't get over until 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
11. How would you want to start watching a game at 11 p.m.?
Dude, you can't satisfy everyone. And again, I know I'm saving baseball for tomorrow, but on the West Coast, if you're a Tigers or Guardians fan that's relocated to the West Coast, your playoff game's at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So there is weird things about time zones out here on the West Coast. So, hey.
At least it's not Russia.
At least it's not Russia, Sam. That is the takeaway of today. All right, listen, coming up, we're going to play Last One Standing. This is a game we play every Monday. And if you want to win a Covino and Rich Nerf football, I was going to say.
A new Nerf football.
A new Nerf football. I'm telling you, I like it better. It's got a little more.
It looks like the turbo kind.
I was going to say it's girthier. That's not the word. It's got what's about more weight to it. It's more dense.
Lorraine,
it's a bet.
I'm your density.
You're my density. So listen, if you want to win a Covino Rich Fox Sports Radio Nerf football, we'll play next 877-99 on Fox. And, of course, we'll touch on more football. I'm saving all the baseball for tomorrow, but just really exciting. And you know what? I haven't brought them up because I'm bummed about it. But if you have any thoughts, guys, on the 49ers, Jags, is that a game they let slip away? Is this Niners team, were they not deserving of 4-0? Like that, they had the ball. Brock Purdy, couple picks. Like, it was sloppy. I don't know. We'll talk about that and more next right here, Fox Sports Radio.
I think it's the debate that's sweeping the nation right now, and I just don't get it. Remember in the movie Big? I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
What don't you get?
I don't understand how people's hate of the Yankees is really clouding their logic, their common sense. Aaron Judge is your MVP. I don't care how many home runs Cal Raleigh hits. He's having a magical season. I think Cal Raleigh's great for Seattle. Congrats on their victory yesterday. Congrats on his 2 home runs. By the way, Judge also hit 2 home runs yesterday. Are you guys failing to realize that Judge leads the MLB in almost every other category? Guess how many categories Cal Raleigh leads the MLB in? 1 home runs. If that was the be-all, end-all, why didn't Judge win the MVP in 2017 when you gave it to Altuve? That turd. Get out of here.
You keep forgetting there's a whole other side of the game. I don't know, defense, catcher.
Where Judge is also pretty stellar Incubus style.
Hold on, I just saw a
He's
stat.
stellar in the outfield. You're acting like this guy's some sort of schlub. He made one error last year, and everyone keeps bringing that up. I got so many reasons as to why it's so clearly Judge. I need to understand why you think it's Cal Raleigh, because he hit 60 home runs?
Honestly, you defending Judge, it's like fighting with my wife about something where I know I'm not going to win.
It's not. It's ridiculous. It's the debate that's sort of dividing the country right now. And you know what? It's better than late night TV and politics or anything else. So we might as well lean into it.
I'll be honest, this is way more fun to argue about. Judge has played 40% of his games this year at the DH position, which means he has done nothing.
Because he was hurt and he still dominated. He still led the team.
And when he's in the field, not a Gold Glover, and Cal Raleigh, not only a Gold Glover last year, he was a Platinum Glover, which means the best overall defender. So,
wait, but did you hear what I said before about Judge leading the major leagues in everything? Major leagues.
Major league.
Cal Raleigh leads the AL in RBI, not the major leagues. He leads the major leagues in home runs, and that's it. And you know what? And people kissing his dumper. People kissing his ass.
Well, that's a pretty sweet
people
dumper.
People hate the Yankees so much. You're letting it get in the way of the actual truth, which is Aaron Judge is so exceptional and so great. You should be embracing his greatness, not trying to tear him down just to lift up Cal Raleigh. It's the conversation that just keeps going on and on and on. And again, people just want to ignore the stats and hate on the Yankees. That's really it. And, of course, Judge fatigue, which we pointed out throughout the week. What are your thoughts,
Your
man?
thoughts, Mr.
Because I do value your thoughts tremendously.
Yeah, it's not that deep. And I'll just say this. I will tend to go to the guy that I don't think will win it again. So if it's close, I'm going with Cal Raleigh. I think Judge has won it. He'll always be in the conversation. Cal Raleigh may, but we don't know. I always side with that. Honestly, guys, I do it with the NBA MVP, which I think that's how they vote, and that may make people frustrated or mad
but
that
it's not a charity vote. I don't get that.
You know what it's like? I'll give you an analogy. You know when you watch a fight, UFC or boxing, you have to judge round by round, and you can't go back and change your round because it's like, oh, well, that's a closer fight than I thought. Maybe I'll go back and give Canelo round 2. That's not how it works. You judge a round and you move on. Because I'll back Covino up on one and only point because I think it's Cal Raleigh that should win. But we can't not give it to Judge because we're tired of him. Like the Joker in the NBA, you can't be like, well, he's already won a bunch.
No,
Let's
but
not give it to him.
They arguably did that to Lamar Jackson last year when they gave it to Josh Allen. Not that Josh Allen didn't deserve it, just like Cal Raleigh doesn't deserve it. But you could say that maybe, Lamar Jackson won it already, so we'll give it to him. Dude, Judge deserves this. I think that is pretty clear when you see that he leads in almost everything.
But the previous years weren't a bar on what was and what wasn't an MVP caliber season. And I say that because Lamar's season last year, passer-wise, I believe is 4th best in NFL history as a passer. That was last season. So I believe there are only 3 other seasons that were better, a couple by Aaron Rodgers. So it's tough to argue against that if you're for Lamar. But the bar that Josh Allen passed when Lamar won it 2 years ago, that tells me that his campaign was worthy enough at that point to be a most valuable player. And if you see where these teams are, specifically with the Mariners now winning the division, I think that also lends to Raleigh and what he's done. So that's where I go with it. I disagree with Rich. Like, Rich doesn't agree with my thinking, but I do tend to go that way with this award.
Can't take that away from Cal Raleigh, but you can't take that away from Judge either. The Yankees would be doo-doo pie without his leadership, without him putting up the numbers. When he was hurt, those 8-10 games, whatever, they were terrible. So he is that difference maker for the Yankees as well. And what do they always say about Cal Raleigh? For a catcher.
Oh, great ass.
Blah, 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 for a catcher. Great ass for a catcher. Home runs for a catcher.
Yeah.
Dude, since when, please tell me, baseball fans, do we vote on some sort of curve or give bonus charity sympathy votes because he's a catcher?
Oh, man. A depressing Monday if your team just missed the playoffs. Playoffs? Ugh. Well,
Playoffs?
Playoffs? Mets fan, Rich Davis here. Covino and Rich, Fox Sports Radio, doing it live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. The LG X Boom Grab is the portable speaker that powers your hustle. From morning coffee to midnight rooftop hangs, enjoy vibrant sound, up to 20 hours of playback. And now you can save 25% at LG.com. Life's good. Fall 25 is the code. Bring the boom, X Boom. And for over 40 years, got to give love to our friends at Tire Rack. They've been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free, backed by free road hazard protection, convenient installation options like mobile tire installation, TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. All right, lines are lit. We want to play. Let's do it every Monday. Last one standing.
You have 5 seconds to battle for your sports trivia life.
Man, I don't got it.
Put your electronic devices down and pick your sports knowledge up. It's CNR's Last One Standing.
Last one standing.
All right, I have 4 categories ready to go. If needed, a tiebreaker. This is not going to end in a tie like last night's game. Each contestant gets 5 seconds to stay alive in the round. If you run out of time or you answer incorrectly, Iowa Sam will take you out with his big bad buzzer. Don't want to hear that. Yeah, don't want to hear that in this game.
No, you wouldn't.
We keep battling until you are the last one standing. If you win 2 of the rounds, you are the top dog. Here are the contestants. No Covino today, so you guys, this should be an easy win for you.
Oh man. Well, yeah, he doesn't really do much anyway.
14-time winner Rich Davis right over there.
Yeah.
The leader in the clubhouse, 32-time winner Dan Byer.
Hello. Somebody stop this guy.
Yeah, we're going to go to the studio lines right now, see if anybody could give Byer some competition. All right, DB, would you love to travel to beautiful Waldoboro, Maine, Paducah, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Delray Beach, Florida, or Boise, Idaho?
We're going to the Twin Cities. Yeah, Minneapolis.
All right.
There we go.
That is Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Hello.
Hello.
Sean, what do you do for a living there in Minnesota?
I'm a personal banker of a credit union.
Oh, nice. Anchor banker. Let's go.
All right. By the way, Spot is the fact checker during this game. When I say your name, the clock is going to start. And be patient with Spotty. A lot of anxiety in this game.
Because I hate it so much.
Good day in the market today.
He has to look
Sean.
the answers up. All right. First category. Plenty of time in Cancun.
What?
Sorry, Rich.
I know.
You have 5 seconds to name an MLB team who has the fewest playoff appearances since the year 1995. MLB team, fewest appearances in the playoffs since 95. We'll take the bottom 18, and there's a few ties, all right? Bottom 18. Rich, you're going to be up first, starting right now. Go.
Bottom 18 since what year?
95.
Marlins.
On the list with 3.
Byer.
Rockies.
Rockies. Numbers, yes, with 5.
Sean.
Pirates.
Pirates have 3.
Rich.
Top of the list.
The team that just edged out my Mets, the Reds.
Reds, yep, with 4.
Buyer.
I'm going to go White Sox.
White Sox, correct, with 5.
Sean.
Cincinnati Reds?
I already
said Reds.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We'll go with the Royals.
Royals with 3.
Good
Yeah,
pull.
there's the same thinking as Dan Byer on the White Sox. Like they had 1 run or so, 2, and that's it.
Good battle in this category. Rich, back to
They
you.
had a couple appearances, but I'm going to say just because of the tough division, the Orioles haven't had many
You'd
appearances.
be correct with only 6.
Yeah.
Nice. Buyer.
What about the Angels?
Angels, yes, with 7.
Mm-hmm. Sean.
The Rangers?
Rangers, yes, with 6.
Rich.
I'm going to stick in that division. I feel like it's always a treat when the Mariners make it because it's rare. The Mariners.
They would be there with 4.
Buyer.
Nationals.
Nationals with 4 as well.
Boom. Sean. 3.
The Cubs?
Cubs, not on the list.
Oh, sorry, brother. Back to Rich.
I'm going to say because I feel like I'm so unhappy usually. The Mets.
You would be correct.
Yeah,
Rich.
the Mets. I was going to say, they've never made, this is a fun fact, one time in their history they made the postseason back-to-back.
They have 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're the reason I thought of this category.
Thanks, buddy.
Buyer.
Tigers?
Tigers on the list with 5.
Ooh, back to Rich.
The Tigers, huh? Okay. I'm going Blue Jays.
Correct with 5 as well.
Buyer.
How many we have left?
A few.
Yeah, bottom 18.
Oh, gosh. Padres?
Correct with 7.
Nice. Rich.
Wow.
3, 2.
I'm going to go Red Sox. That's wrong.
That would be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buyer, what would you have had next?
Twins?
No. So you guys missed
the last one, though.
Yeah, Buyer.
Buyer wins that round right there. Some of the ones we missed, Buyer?
Yeah, the 3 you missed were Brewers with 6, D-backs with 7, and Rays with 7.
You know, I would not have said Brewers. I feel like I feel like the Brewers are in the
I thought they
postseason
were
quite a bit.
Yeah, especially as of late.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that the Rangers, Royals, and Nationals have all won a World Series in the last 10 years?
And well, if you want to go back to the 2000s, the White Sox had that one run. They won a World Series, and that's it. That's it. 05, 20 years ago.
Buyer had the ball last there. He gets the point. We move to the second category, Iron Horses. You have 5 seconds to name an NFL player who leads the league in all-time games played. Most career games played in the NFL. All right. We'll take the top 30. There's a few ties. None in the top 30 are active players, by the way. Top 30 starting in Minnesota with you, Sean, when the timer starts right now. Go.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre on the list with 302.
Buyer.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady on the list with 335.
Double talk, Dickie.
Adam Vinatieri.
Adam Vinatieri with 365.
Yes,
Number
nice
2
one.
on the list.
Sean. 3, 2, 1.
Morton Anderson.
Oh.
What do you say?
Morton.
Number 1.
Wow.
382.
Dang, you just got it in. All right, Buyer.
I just want to say John Carney.
Okay. Yes, number 10 with 302.
Yes.
Connie's circus folk.
Okay.
Rich.
No Mets, you know.
Smells like cabbage.
Okay.
3.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. Not on the
No,
list.
not in the top 30.
Yeah,
All
sorry.
right, back to Sean.
Just ran out of kickers that are come to mind.
Jim Marshall.
Jim Marshall. Yep. Number 22 on the
Yeah,
list with
great
282.
pull. Buyer.
What about Bruce Matthews?
Bruce Matthews. Yes. 296 at number 15.
Yeah, he was an Iron Man. All right, Sean.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is on the list.
Oh, man!
With 287.
I stupidly was choosing between Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, and I picked wrong. Okay.
Nice battle here. Back to Buyer.
What about Gary Anderson?
Gary Anderson is on the list at number 3 with
Yeah.
353 games.
All right, Sean, back to you. 3, 2.
Frank Gore.
We say
Frank Gore.
No. No, Frank Gore not on the list.
Good guess,
that
though.
means Byer walks off with
man.
back-to-back categories.
man.
Boom.
Oh, that damn Byer stinks.
That is
Call BS.
Can I pick one on the list?
You may.
Because of his longevity, is Big Trent Williams on that list? Because he's been around forever, it seems.
No, he
Big
didn't make
Trent.
the top 30.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
wondering if he
I
was
was-
the one lineman that made that list.
I was going to say Roethlisberger, but that would have been
Big
my
Ben?
next guess.
And remember, Rich, I said none of the top 30 were active players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is
wasn't on
Byer's
30.
33rd win in this game.
Oh, is Jerry Rice on that list?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
All right. And Sean, there in Minneapolis, we thank you for playing.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't
I
it?
think it was
John?
fun.
Jerry Rice
fun.
was in the top 10.
I can't win. I
George
can't win.
Blanda.
I can't
Oh,
win.
yeah,
Judge-
George
no,
Blanda.
George Blanda with his old ass picture that they put next to Brady when they were both. Oh man,
If you wouldn't have said Vinatieri, I would have completely blanked on kickers. I would have gone down the quarterback road.
You know what? I feel like I shot too soon. I guess
You
I'll
opened
say.
up a whole new world.
Ugh, I can't even win. The Niners lose. The Mets lose. I lose. I'm just a loser. Oh, Dan Byer, take it away. Update, please. You know what's aggravating? Can I say this? When you work in sports, radio, TV, podcasting, when your teams stink and then you have to then go talk about sports, it's not awesome all the time.
No, it
not.
isn't.
It's like-
No, it isn't.
Ugh.
So let me get this out of
Yeah,
the way.
please.
No practice for Brock Purdy today. We don't know his status for Thursday's game after having an apparent setback with his toe injury. That was the message from Kyle Shanahan earlier today. Big divisional showdown on Thursday night between the Rams and Niners to start Week 5. We need to wrap up Week 4 tonight with the Jets and Dolphins and Bengals and Broncos playing. An MRI Monday confirmed that Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors has a torn ACL. He'll miss the rest of the season. The team placed Neighbors on IR this afternoon. In a statement, Giants owner John Mara announced that he's been diagnosed with cancer, is getting treatment, and will continue to work through the diagnosis. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh said Lamar Jackson couldn't have returned to yesterday's game because of his hamstring injury. His status for Week 5 is up in the air. Harbaugh also said defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike is going to miss the rest of the season because of a neck injury. NFL Network reports Chargers left tackle Joe Alt expected to miss multiple weeks because of a high ankle sprain suffered yesterday against the Giants. When asked multiple times if he's going to be starting Joe Flacco in Week 5 against the Vikings, all Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski would say is that he's looking to make the offense better than it has been the first 4 weeks of the season. Minnesota Twins parted ways with manager Rocco Baldelli after 7 seasons. Bob Melvin out as the skipper of the Giants after 2 years. Interim Pirate skipper Don Kelly, now the full-time manager, getting a contract extension after taking over for the fired Derek Shelton in early May. Pirates were 59-65 under Kelly, so a good second half of the stretch keeps him in the Steel City. Dodgers are going to start Blake Snell on the mound in tomorrow's Game 1 against the Reds. Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to miss the start of training camp because he's dealing with COVID. And Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard responded to the allegations that he had a no-show endorsement deal to circumvent the salary cap by saying, quote, "The NBA is going to do their job. None of us did anything wrong. We invite the investigation," end quote. That from Kawhi Leonard. Rich, back to you.
Yeah, DB, I know you and I both love uniforms like that. We just both are fascinated with like alternate uniforms, the City Connects in baseball, and I know a lot of new NFL alternates this year. Did you see the Dolphins one they're rocking tonight? It looks pretty sweet. I think. I don't know. It's like a cool matte finish, and they got that like dolphin.
I don't know if it's black or blue because when they spray painted the field, it looked blue, but the uniforms look black. It's very, very unique, very dark. I just don't understand why the other team isn't wearing their alter. Like, why didn't you plan this in a certain way where if you're wearing the Seahawks,
they didn't text each other. That's what it was. They didn't. They showed up wearing different things.
I remember at the draft they were trying to build up this whole rivalries thing, and then they announced that only 2 divisions each year will get rivalry uniforms. Well, they're only wearing them in division games, so why wouldn't you design them where you could wear them against the other opponents? The Seahawks have a gray one. They couldn't wear gray against the Cardinals sand on Thursday, so it looked weird that the Cardinals were wearing a uniform.
Did you see when they zoom in on the
Sand.
Cardinals one and they said it just looks like a tortilla?
Or like, yes.
I thought it looked like mud splatter.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, it was sort of like a dust storm, desert storm,
Very
sandstorm.
light beige sort of uniform. So
Tortilla is nice. I like that.
Yeah, I get tortilla. Covino does too.
Makes me hungry.
That's why he likes his girlfriend. She's pale with a lot of birthmarks. He said she'd like a tortilla. All right, let me ask you this.
That's got to be racist.
No, I identify as Mexican. I have a question for you,
Ben. You eat a taco in every pre-show meeting, so I can see that.
Cooler dance, by the way, as we go to break. Cooler dance. Brent Sutter on the Reds, who was doing that strut in the locker room as the Reds celebrated, or Aaron Glenn, Jets coach. Remember like a week ago, he's strutting down the
Aaron
sideline.
Glenn by a country mile.
I mean, that was a cooler strut.
That's how he celebrated when he was a player.
Dude, he had the coolest strut. I mean, I know it's a couple weeks ago, but I don't know. Or the Reds in the locker room after
That was
they realized.
good, but Aaron Glenn has, he's got dancing shoes on all the time.
I mean, definitely. Oh, I want to see a little strut tonight. We got a double doozy for Monday Night Football. So I got a teaser bet I think we're going to entertain next. We'll go over a little NFL right here. Covino and Rich, Fox Sports Radio.
But we got to talk about David Fry and what happened to him, because that was scary, dude. I couldn't believe what I saw.
Well,
at first, I was like, Dan Byer, did it hit the bat? That was wild.
Well, the guy we're talking about, David Fry, is the guy that got hit in the face. I don't think the pitch, when you take a look at it, I don't think Skubal went too inside. I think Fry squares around for a bunt, hovers over the plate, and what would normally have been on a regular pitch, a sort of a brushback, when you're squaring around that much in front of the plate, you are exposing yourself. Like, you know when you teach little kids.
He exposed himself to a 99.6 mile per hour fastball to the face.
When you teach little kids how to get out of the way if a ball's coming at you, you know, it's the opposite of squaring up for a bunt. You always tell them to, you know, turn away and let it hit your side or back, like you know, like a turtle.
Well, speaking of what you teach to kids, if you're one of those kids that sucked at Little League, you may have never learned that the second you see someone square away for a bunt, you're supposed to throw high and tight.
Yeah.
And that's what Skubal was doing. He was doing his job. I agree with Rich. I think he squared away way too far. He leaned into that fastball.
Well, because Skubal, you saw his reaction. He felt terrible, and, you know, he's a good man. He, of course, feels empathy and sympathy and all those things. But David Fry was over the plate. He was well, again, I don't think this is some ridiculous high, tight, would have hit him pitch. It really wouldn't have. I think it would have been inside, ball one.
But so scary to see. Luckily, he's okay. When I say okay, he has facial fractures. You heard Dan Byer talking about it.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of how bad it could have been, he's okay. 6 to 8 week recovery, and that's great to hear. I know Skubal felt terrible. His teammates felt, everybody watching. I felt terrible. But the Guardians pulled it together, and they end up winning 5-2. But let's talk about it. The times you got hit in the face, or maybe you were responsible for it, because we all have stories, and Rich and I share one together, and we'll tell you this unfortunate tale, but it's scary sometimes you're never the same. You could talk about Giancarlo Stanton, or you could talk about my buddy Barry. You know, my buddy Barry Barnando. He was that kid in Little League that got hit in the face, broke his jaw, and then we had to wear those masks for the rest of our Little League career.
You had to wear like a mask in Little League?
Like a plastic guard that went over the helmet.
Oh, Barry ruined it.
Yeah, he sort of ruined that for everybody. He was that kid, and he was infamous, which is more than famous, for that one reason. But we all have those stories, and Rich and I, like I said, we share like a terrible story, but maybe you were punched, maybe you were knocked in the face. We want to hear those stories because I want to know if you saw stars, did you see birds like the cartoons, and how scary it actually is. We can have fun a day later, but at first it was very scary.
Very scary, and even, as scary as the hit in the face, because we know that he's going to recover, right, Dan Byer? Like, he's going to be
6 to 8 weeks, was discharged from the hospital. They say he's resting comfortably, but they were minimally displaced fractures, but there were multiple fractures on the left side of his face and other nasal fractures as well.
Now, I don't wish this upon him or anybody, but he has to be a little apprehensive moving forward, right? There's got to be that PTSD involved of being scared of any high and tight pitch, at least for the next few months. I have a few stories. One involves...
I would be careful, by the way, with your Google search, balls to the face.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Be careful over there.
I hope I don't get in trouble from HR. I was doing research.
But my point is, every kid has gone through this. I remember I got drilled in the helmet by a kid in Little League throwing heat, and for a good month, I was like, oh, you get scared in the box. And my son, who plays T-ball, it's coach pitch and machine pitch, there was a good month where I had to mentally get my son back in and be like, Monday. Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. The whole crew is here. Danny G, I was Sam, Dan Byer, and Spotty. Thank you guys for hanging today and being such great contributors and teammates. Unlike the Mets. Now, see, if the Mets had everyone contributing like you guys, they'd be going to Dodger Stadium tomorrow. But no, it's the Reds.
I cannot wait until tomorrow's show.
Because I need 24 hours to just sort of let it sit in. I just read New York broadcaster Mike Francesa, famous East Coast guy, just called the Mets a bunch of gutless bums. Everyone is being really hard on this team, and I have a theory that we're going to get to tomorrow, and it's not just about my Mets. It's about whether or not you run it back sometimes or do you blow up a team. Like, let's just say the Ravens somehow can't figure it out this year. Lamar's banged up, and they missed the postseason. Let's just say that were to happen. Are you going to really be like, Harbaugh, you're out. We need to get Henry, Lamar, we blowing up these contracts? No, because sometimes you just have to run it back and say, this was a failure. Guys, what are we doing? So we're going to get to that tomorrow as we do it live here. Fox Sports Radio studio. And if you ever wanted to try an Olympic or Paralympic sport, try fencing. It's fast, safe, and easy to start. Find a beginner class near you at usafencing.org/tryfencing. That's usafencing.org/tryfencing. I was saying, is there a picture of you that exists of you fencing?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Because we learned that Javier Sam has done this before.
I have a T-shirt possibly in storage of my University of Iowa fencing club. But
they get you a lot of girls, huh?
No.
Like, there he is. I was Sam the fencer.
You get all sweaty under the equipment.
Is he on the football team? No, he's a fencer.
He's a sword fighter.
Oh, my God, Jessica, tell me about Sam. He's a fencer. All right, and this isn't just a game. It's a once-in-a-generational event. Have you guys ever seen the Harlem Globetrotters? It is awesome. They're great. 100-year tour. Come be a part of the legacy that never stops. Be there when history is made. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com. Now, tonight, double doozy, Jets and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins just win based on their cool uniforms, but I don't know. That's not how things are played. You got the Dolphins at home, favored by 2.5, which is your typical Vegas, essentially your field goal point spread for the home team. Is this a statement game for either team, Dan Byer? Do you feel like Mike McDaniel shows that, hey, I got some juice left here, guys, or is this where the Jets win? It's like miserable.
For all of the calling for Mike McDaniel, the game against Buffalo that you had in week 3 where they were competitive, you would hope that they could carry that over. Tonight means a lot more for them. Like if the Jets lose again, it'd be a bad loss for Aaron Glenn. They'd be 0-4. You don't want to be winless, but it means a heck of a lot more for the Dolphins in terms of where they are. Well, they should win tonight.
I know that pre-game speeches and hype could only get you so far. You know, sometimes they'll be like, yo, guys, it was a player-only meeting, and you expect that team to come out firing on all cylinders the next day, and they lay an egg. So I saw Tyreek Hill looking more fired up than I've ever seen Tyreek Hill. I don't know if you saw, they were showing some B-roll on the field. Everyone was huddled around Tyreek Hill. His hand movements, he was going nuts, firing up his team. So perhaps a quick start for the Dolphins tonight. Jets, Dolphins, and then Bengals, Broncos. This should be a game that Denver sort of handles without Joe Burrow, and, you know, that they should put up some points against that Bengals defense, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be a matter of if Jake Browning can hold on to the football and not turn it over. Like, I don't expect the Broncos offense to be stopped because the Bengals really haven't shown that their defense is up to the task. So if Browning doesn't turn the ball over, then I think we could have a fun game. But otherwise, you know, I like Denver, even though it hasn't been a great start to them, to their season. Last week's loss to the Chargers, a tough one, but they were kind of dominated in that game. So Denver better show up tonight. But if Jake Browning doesn't turn the ball over, Bengals could be in it.
Here's what I like tonight. We've been doing these teaser bets, and the teaser bets I don't put in myself are usually the ones that win. So good for you, bad for me. These teaser bets where you take 2 games, 2 layers, and you play with 6 points. Here's what I like tonight. Broncos are favored by 7.5. That hook might get you, but you know what? Let's pull that down to Broncos minus 1.5. So Broncos just need to win by 2 at home. Should be a win for them. So Broncos minus 1.5, and take the over/under in the Jets-Dolphins game and push it from 43.5 to 49.5 and take the under. I mean, even though I just said Tyreek Hill might be fired up, I could see this game being 20-17, 24-17, and that's still under. So
Justin Fields back tonight for the Jets. No Tyrod Taylor. Interesting to see if it'll be more of the running affair for the Jets. I think there'll be some points in this game. So
will there be 49.5? I guess we'll see. So we'll lock that in. And by the way, as I said, Mike McDaniels, I knew it was McDaniel. There's ones I always get wrong. Griffin or Griffith, I always get wrong. Is it Kathy? Griffin or Griffith?
Kathy Griffin.
All right, now the Family Guy. Peter?
Griffith.
All right, baseball coach.
Wait, now I'm doubting myself.
Wait, Griffin. Peter Griffin. All right, baseball manager.
Oh, it is Peter Griffin and Kathy Griffin.
Right, baseball coach. Baseball manager, Tony La Russa, right?
Yes.
Karate Kid, Daniel
La Russo.
So, these are the things that haunt me. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your double doozy Monday Night Football. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll talk some playoff baseball and more NFL. Thanks for hanging. Until tomorrow, arrivederci, baby. See you in the promised land. Goodbye.
Later.